It says, apologies, I entered late to the meeting. Will the slides and video be available after the presentation? Yes, we are recording and we do post this on our website, so you will be it will be available for you to review and go back and watch from the beginning. It also has a lot of helpful links that you can click on that will be able to help you. Okay, so it'll be on our website. Again, just a reminder, I'm seeing some chats. If you want to ask a question, you want to make sure that you go into the Q&A section and send it to all panelists. Okay? Not through the chat. You want to go through where it says Q&A. What about a contract manager? I'm not sure what that question was relating to. Does owning, operating a residential and commercial drafting business, sole ownership, let's see. Does owning and operating a residential and commercial drafting business for 15 years count towards experience credit? Fode, what do you think? It's drafting business.
Sorry, would you repeat the question?
Sure. It says, does owning or operating a residential and commercial drafting business? So he's in drafting. Does that count towards experience?
No, the experience is hands-on. Construction, a building being built. So drafting, design is not actually considered a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm coming from Texas. What distinction am I supposed to make exactly about where the relevant experience occurred? So you're going to want to go ahead and when you fill out your work experience certificate, that's the only difference. You're going to put the address where you obtained the experience. It's basically the same form. All you want to do is have the person who is going to certify your work experience explain that what work you did, where you obtained that experience, how long, from what month, day, year to what month, day, year did you work there. And that's the only difference. It's the same process. Who qualifies as a certifier for experience? So who can certify their experience for?
The experience, if you will see anyone who has observed the work being done, the trades, and can attest to it. If you see in the certification of work experience, there is a place over there, it says the relationship between certifier and applicant. All those relationships are acceptable relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically anybody who has knowledge that you have that journeyman level experience. The different categories at the bottom of the page say it could be your employer, but it doesn't have to necessarily be your employer. It can be another contractor, it can be a foreman, a supervisor, a fellow employee. Even if you're part of a union, it could be somebody from a union representative. So there's different categories at the bottom of the certification of work experience that you might want to take a look at. It says, if I'm applying for a B and have previously worked as an employee for another company, will I be required to produce the relevant license and inspections? So if you're applying for a B license, the process is going to be the same. We need somebody who is willing to certify, saying that you have 4 years of experience within the last 10 years. So it doesn't have to be the company where you worked for. So no, we wouldn't necessarily require that information, but somebody who knows that you have journeyman level experience, and we're looking for 4 years within the last 10. Will I have to pay the $330 fee each time for a specialty license, or just $200 after the initial one? So as far as the fee for the first time you apply, you will pay the initial licensing fee. If you want to add additional classifications, there's a separate form. The additional classification fee right now is $150 per classification that you wish to add. So it's a different form, it's a different application, but it's not the full amount. No, it would be $150. And then at time of renewal, it's one renewal fee for the whole license, because the different classifications are added to the license. So you wouldn't have to pay individually at all. No. How long is the license good for? And what are the fees associated with renewals? How long is a license good for, folks?
2 years. The initial is for 2 years.
Correct. So go ahead. You apply and it's good for 2 years.
Yeah, let's say you get it today, your license is issued today, December 4, 2020. That license is good until December 31st, 2022, end of the month that was issued.
Mm-hmm. And what's the renewal fee? Do you know?
Renewal fee, I have to check that one currently. I believe it's about $540. I check for that and let you know.
Yeah, we could check. It's on our website. That information is on our website, and you pay that as long as you pay that on time. You pay every 2 years, then your license will stay in good standing. You want to make sure you don't let your license lapse.
Correct.
Good afternoon. Quick question. What is the correct certification for sanitizing and disinfecting? So we have different classifications. What you're going to want to do is we have a classification booklet. And what it does, it gives you a description of what you can do with every license. There was a link in our presentation, but you can also look on our website. So you're going to want to refer to our website, look for the description of classifications. And it will let you know what functions you can do with every classification that we offer. What officers does a foreign corporation need to list?
That would be president, secretary, and treasurer.
Okay, thank you. For section 4 of the application, if applying as a sole ownership at 100% ownership by qualifier, can we cross out section 4 completion of application, or should we write NA all over? Section 4, let me see.
You don't even have to submit that second page. If there is only 1% sole ownership, that there will be on the first page, and you wouldn't need the personnel page. But if you want to submit, you can cross out, put NA, but you don't really need to submit it if it's sole owner and 1% on the license.
Thank you. I work in multiple projects with multiple companies throughout the year. Do I need to state all of the companies? No. What we're looking for is somebody who can certify you for 4 years. Sometimes one person can certify your 4 years of experience, but sometimes you don't have one person that can certify the 4 years. So let's say one person can certify 2 years. What you would need to do is make a copy of the certification form and have another person certify you for an additional 2 years. So what we're looking for is 4 years within the last 10. If the bachelor degree was received outside of the U.S. in another language, does it need to be translated? Yes, we mentioned that. Yes, the transcripts would have to be.
I have to add one thing here. They actually translated and evaluated. There are accredited institutes in the United States. They have to be evaluated as well. So translated and evaluated.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. How many questions are on the test? So it varies. Each test has a different amount of questions. It could range. It ranges. They're all different. About 100, anywhere from 100 to 120 questions. And you're given 3.5 hours per examination. If you don't need the full 3.5 hours, let's say you start with a business and law and you finish early, you can go right into your trade exam. But if you want to take a little break, you can. Yeah, but each one varies. And like Fode mentioned during our workshop, you will know at the end of the day. They won't tell you exactly what the correct answers were, but they will give you a printout to let you know what you should brush up on or what you need to study for the next exam. What does a General B license encompass? What can they do with a General B license? You want to answer that one, Fode?
Sure. General B is the main part of General B is framing structural work. But you have to at least, the contract to at least 2 other trades, unrelated trades. So you guys can do framing as long as, 2 other trades. For example, the project has plumbing and electrical. You can take those kind of work. Framing is not counted as part of it. So as long as the project has 2 unrelated works that are not to the framing, you can do that work. Framing, you don't need any other trades. If you can get the contract just for the framing with your B. And also, if you get a bid for a single trade, you actually have to sub that one out to someone who has that classification. You can't do it yourself. You can bid on it, but you have to sub it out.
Next question, where can we download the presentation? So there was a link. You can go to our website, www.cslb.ca.gov, and there will be a link to where you can view this presentation. And we also have done some in the past, so you can definitely view those as well for months past. What is the score to pass the General B exam? So there's different scores. Usually it's like a 70% is required to pass, so you don't have to get 100%. It's about a 70%. They'll let you know on the day of the exam, depending on which exam you're taking. But yeah, usually it's about 70%. What officers does a foreign corp? Okay, so we answered that one already. I'm trying to get my C20 license. Can I also do residential electrical with a C20? But can they do residential electrical with a C20?
No, you can only do the electric part that is, part of, the C20 work you do. But any outside of that, no, you can get a, wire like from the control panel to your system. But doing the, rewiring the house and other electrical work, no.
Mm-hmm. Would a final inspection upon sale of a home work towards verifying work completed by owner builder? No, unfortunately, a home inspection would not qualify as documentation for the owner builder. We would need a permit because the home inspection doesn't tell us who did the work. Anybody could have done that work. But if you have a permit, that's the information that we're looking for. Are the requirements the same for a painter's license? Yes, the requirements are the same regardless of what license you are applying for. How many credits do you get if you have a bachelor's of architecture if the bachelor's degree was received outside of the US? Okay, so we've answered that question. Again, we have the slide up. You can see you can get up to 36 months. And yes, we mentioned it has to be translated. And did you say verified?
Evaluated.
Evaluated. What study material would you recommend for the business and law exam? So the best information that we can give you is that you'd want to look at our law book, and you can read it completely free of charge on our website. The first 200 pages are question and answers, and they're very helpful information. If you wanted to purchase a book and actually have the actual physical book, you can also do that, and you can do that on our website as well. But you can read it completely free right on our website. You'll want to go to the study guides section. We mentioned we have study guides for each and every exam. We have one for the law and business, and if you look on there, it will tell you what other references we recommend that you study. If the corporation and qualifier is out of the state, do they have to travel to California during COVID, or is there a way to take the test remotely? Oh, do you know?
No, there is unfortunately no way of taking the test remotely, but you will have 18 months to pass the test. So I would recommend just, wait until it's normalized and maybe take it at that time. But at this time, unfortunately, you have to be present to take the test.
Thank you. Where we are an environmental response company and do hazmat emergency response, mainly excavating hazardous waste removal. What classification would I need? Again, go ahead, Fred, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, we have to see the experience itself, like A, C12, some of these classifications that work with dirt, they could apply for hazardous certificate. So you have to hold one of those classification and also a hazardous certificate to be able to do the work that they're describing here.
Mm-hmm. And again, we want to refer you to our description of classification that you can review on our website, and it will let you know what type of work you can do with each classification that we offer. I have the experience in Finnish carpentry and I am self-employed. If the people I have done jobs for write a letter stating the work I have done for them, will that be sufficient to prove my work experience? You want to take that one?
Yes, sure. We may have to call them, get some information from them, verbally verifying the information. But yes, we will consider that.
But initially, what we need is the experience certification, right? Somebody needs to complete that certification initially. We wouldn't need those letters unless they were requested, correct?
Well, actually, it would be best if they can certify them, just put them on the certification of work experience. If there's for any period it is, if instead of writing a letter, they can just complete a certification of work experience for that period for them. But yes, none of this will be submitted in lieu of the work experience certification form. We definitely need that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I need a contractor's license and DIR number to sanitize and disinfect a school district. What is the correct certification? So we talked a little bit about the classification for the sanitizing and disinfecting. We would have to see what you qualify for. The DIR number is something that you're going to have to contact them for. That's the, they would be the ones to give you that certification number. What is the typical processing time once an application is received by CSLB? So right now on our website, we do have processing times available. If you are interested, you can see what date we work on, receive date. It'll let you know what date we're working on. Because of COVID, it varies because some people, their fingerprint information comes back right away. Others take a little bit longer. So it just varies, but you can go on our website and look at our processing times. It says, I will fill out part 1 of the certification of work experience and hand it to my employer to fill out part 2. Will that sheet of paper be submitted by my employer directly to CSLB or have it returned to me to submit along with my application? So you want to make sure that you submit it with your application. You want to submit an application package together because if not, we're going to have a hard time matching it up. So you can hand it to that person, have them fill it out, sign it, provide their contact information, give it back to you, and you mail it in with your application and your fee. Who can demonstrate my work experience? Licensed contractor or not licensed? You want to take that one, Phil?
Preferably licensed contractor, but as we said, whoever observed your work physically, they can attest to it.
Yeah. It says certification of work experience. I have to fill this out for every employer I've worked for? No. What you're going to do is you're going to select one person to be the person who's going to certify your work experience. One person that knows that you have journeyman level experience 4 years within the last 10 years. You fill out section number 1. They're going to fill out section number 2, saying what work, what your experience is, what projects you have performed. Is a landscaping contractor licensed to build a swimming pool as part of a landscape project? Code?
No, you have to hold C53 or you have to sub it out to someone who holds the C53 swimming pool.
Mm-hmm. Can work experience be counted if I was not paid as an employee, but instead paid as an independent contractor to my existing corporation?
Let's be counted if it was not paid.
Not paid experience. Does it count?
Right. One should be counted if I was. Again, this one is case to case. We have to see who did the work. So I can't tell you, that exactly specifically until I see, who done the work.
We'd have to look at your certification, but yes, it doesn't have to be paid experience. Even if you were an independent contractor, we would just have to. It's what kind of work did you do? That's what we want to look at.
Exactly.
I want to get a license for painting, drywall, flooring, and possibly some carpentry. Is that the general B or specialty licenses? So at this time, our general B has a requirement that you have the structural framing experience. So if you want to qualify for the B license, you would have to prove that you have structural framing. The good news is that we are working on a new classification. It was approved by the governor, so we are going to be moving forward with a new remodeling classification. And that would include the duties that you have mentioned, painting, drywall, flooring, all of that would be under the new classification. So you want to, look on our website, see if any new information comes forward. We are working on that classification. It's not in existence just yet, but we have received approval to move forward with that. How do you qualify for an exam waiver? You want to take that one, Boone? How do you qualify for an exam waiver?
Sure. The exam waiver, if you already hold the classification, that's exam waiver. If you see other provisions in the law book that you think you qualify for, again, I suggest you go look at all those 7065.1 regulations. Talks all about the waivers and whatnot. Just look at that, see if you qualify, and then you can submit your request, submit a letter with your application for request. We will review it, and if you are qualified, we will grant it.
As an owner, do I have to get my salesperson license? No. If you are the owner and you are on the license, you hold the license, you do not need a salesperson registration. That would only be for people who are not on the license. What is the correct certification for sanitary? Okay, we answered that question. If I am self-employed, how can I show experience or qualification for the D35 license? So we mentioned that a little bit. We had those handouts. We do have handouts that we provided the link for. What is it that we're looking for exactly? You would need to have somebody certify your work experience, again, 4 years within the last 10 years. And then if CSLB requested additional documentation, we have that acceptable documentation list that you'd want to refer to. The middle section, the middle list section is for self-employed. If my 4 years of experience is from multiple contractors, do I need multiple certifications? Yes, you would need, let's say you have people who can only certify 1 year of experience, then you would need 4. Just keep on making copies. What we're looking for is 48 months. So make sure that you have 48 non-overlapping months, and then we would consider that. I am transitioning into construction. I have a doctorate in education, not in business, not in law. Would I get any credit for education? Oh, the BA is in education.
Yeah, still, we have to see it. You get some, but again, I have to see it. A doctorate in education, you will get some, but I can't tell you how much.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many questions are on the C33 painter's test? How many are we allowed to miss to pass? So that information varies per examination. We give you a ballpark anywhere between 100 to 120 questions, and to pass is roughly about 70%. So that is roughly the amount on each of our examinations. But you will get more information once you are closer to your testing. And once you take the exam, they will let you know what your percentage was. How long credit for builder owner per house? It depends. On that form that you're going to fill out, you're going to tell us when you started the project, when you ended the project. We want to see permits, as well as when inspections took place, how long did it take, things of that nature. So it's not one we don't have one answer for that. We would have to look at the form and the permits that you provide. I have college credits and not till transcript only. Copy from Sierra College. Will this work? No, it has to be sealed. So you would have to request sealed transcripts mailed to you, and then you would want to include that with your application. If you are an officer on a corporate license and want to apply for an individual license, what application process is for that? What will be the application? So if they're on a corporation, they want to get their own license, what do they have to do?
If they have a corporation, they want to get their own license, to submit application for original contractor license. If you have the classification already, you submit application for original license exam waiver 7065. So again, depends on whether you have to take exam or not. That's you choose the application you're going to submit.
Okay, thank you. Is there a phone number we can call to ask specific questions regarding our transcript requirements? Unfortunately, no. We do have an 800 number that you can call. However, they're not going to be able to give you specific information on your transcripts. So we don't have the staff for that, unfortunately. It's going to be once we have your actual application, you submit your transcripts, it will be assigned to a technician and they will be able to give you more information. But unfortunately, our staff that mans the 800 number is not going to be able to answer specific questions. What is the required bond amount for a corporation once the application is approved? Can I take that one for?
Yeah, there is a $15,000 contractor bond for the corporations. And if it is qualified by a responsible managing employee, which holds 0%, that they also need a $12,500 qualifying individual bond. Otherwise, they only need $50,000 contractor bond.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Do I need a transcript of high school for applying for a license? I graduated high school in another country. No, we don't need proof of high school. You wouldn't receive any credit for high school anyway. So no transcripts needed for high school. Only $150 for each. I was worried it was going to cost me thousands to get many specialties. No, $150 for additional classification. That's the fee for additional classifications, and you can have as many classifications added to your license as you can prove the experience for. Is there any specific study guides you recommend that are online, or is it worth the $400 study guides available online? So the study guides that we provide are free. They're on our website. So if you go to our website in the search engine, just put study guides, and then you're going to want to print the one for the business and law. Everybody takes a business and law, and then for the trade exam that you plan on taking. And we kind of covered the information that's on there. Basically, the study guides, it provides brief information. It tells you what you can expect on test date. It gives you a couple of test strategies. It gives you a couple sample questions, and then on the back it gives you resources, books that you can start, websites you can start checking out now. You can go to the library, check out these books, so that you can prepare for the examination. They're completely free, and it's the only thing that we recommend. I know that there are schools out there that offer different study guides, and that would be up to you, but it's not a requirement. There is no educational requirement to get your license. Hi, if a person is licensed with C36 plumbing, does this give any credit? I'm not sure what that question means. If you have a plumbing license and you're trying to get a different classification added to your license, you would have to prove the experience in the additional classification. We are a manufacturer supplying product to installers. They are all licensed installers. Okay. Rodney, if you're still with us, that's the only part I don't see the question part. It says we're a manufacturer supplying product to installers. They are all licensed installers. I don't know what the question is. When asked to provide proof of experience, can we show our type of proof from the list shown earlier, or will we be asked specifically what kind of proof to show? So if we contact you to let you know that we need additional documentation from you, you can provide anything from that list. We will take any information from that list. So if you can begin gathering that now, just in case you are selected, we absolutely do recommend that. The GCs are wanting us to have, okay, this is Ronnie's question. The GCs are wanting us to have a license. As I manage the installations and provide direction from the installs. That's it, Ronnie. I'm sorry, Ronnie, we're having a problem getting your full question. If the work experience on an application is considered inadequate or too vague, does it get sent back for clarification or is it rejected? Does it put the application back to the beginning of the process time-wise? Fo, do you want to take that one?
We will send it, we don't, reject it, or we just send it back to you. We give you 90 days to provide the corrections and send it back to us. And once we get it back, we process it usually within 5 business days. It doesn't go back in the queue, but the technician that is working on it, they have, they process return documents as received. So there is still a waiting time, but it doesn't go back in the queue to the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Again, the question about the high school, we don't need your high school transcripts.
No, we don't.
Okay. Excuse me for bringing this up again, but is credit maximum 36 month and work experience separate requirements? Okay, so the work experience requirement is 48 months. That's what we were looking for, 48 months of experience. What we mentioned is you can get credit for your education that will go towards the 48. So it's the same credit. We're trying to get 4 years within the last 10 years. So if you have some education and you're able to provide proof, you're able to get us a transcript, you can receive up to 36 months. But like we mentioned, it's not on a year-to-year basis, and we can't tell you how much education, your credit you're going to receive, but that will help you to meet the 48-month requirement. Okay. Do all 14 months of experience have to be related to your C specialty, or does also general experience apply? For example, I have framing experience, but want to get a swimming pool contractor license. So we're looking for 4 years of experience in the classification that you are applying for. So if you wanted to get your swimming pool license, we're looking for 4 years. Fo, do you have anything to add to
that? So this is the one about, does all 48 months experience have to be related to your C specialty? Is that the question?
That's the one, yeah.
What's that?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. So for example, I'm framing experience, want to get a swimming pool contractor license. No, it has to be 48 months, has to be on that trade, that the classification that you're applying for. So yeah, if you're going for a swimming pool, you have to have 48 months of experience building swimming pools.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It says, the next one, can I have to be certified by realtor or broker or constructor only? Do I have to be W-2 employee worker for them? Will you require documents? Okay, I believe what you're saying is who can certify your experience. We mentioned that at the bottom of the certification form, it gives you a list of who can certify your experience. It doesn't have to be a realtor or a broker. It has to be somebody who has experience, knowledge that you have journeyman level experience and that is willing to work with CSLB, willing to talk to us. Yes, sometimes additional documentation will be required. We mentioned that as well. Can I use a framing experience as well? Framing experience, I'm assuming you mean for the B license. Yes, framing experience will help you obtain the B license. What's the process for transferring the license from sole ownership to a corporation or an LLC once it's created? If you want to change a license from a sole ownership to a corporation, you would have to apply. You would have to reapply. You wouldn't have to take the examinations if it's in the same classification, but you would have to reapply for the license to switch it to a corporation.
Yeah,
If
the
I
waiver.
use, go ahead. It would be the waiver exam, correct? You wouldn't have to take the exam.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
If I have used my MBA degree to get the C33 5 years ago, and now want to apply for the General B, will he be able to use his degree again, folks?
Yes, you can use your education every time you apply for a classification.
If I am self-employed, how can I show experience or qualifications for the D35 license? So we kind of mentioned that we have the additional documentation form. If we were to solicit more information from you, you'd want to refer to that form. But the experience is the same. You want to have somebody who can certify your experience 4 years within the last 10 years that can complete the certification of work experience form for you. It's the same process as all license classifications. Can the exams be taken at a testing center outside of California? We answered that already. No, unfortunately, at this time, you would have to come, the qualifier would have to come to California to take the examination. When asked to provide proof of experience, can we show proof from the list given earlier of our choice? Yes, you can. You can choose which ones you're going to provide. How long is the wait time for an application to be approved? Again, we mentioned there are we have processing times on our website, so you can go to our website now. Looked like my question got skipped. Should I retype them? We have more than 100 questions here, so we're going through them as fast as we can. We may get to yours in just a little bit. I'm not sure if they're there or not. Would you accept transcripts and evaluation of transcripts obtained to apply for the architectural license?
Sure.
You would want to just send it in.
As long as it shows you have the equivalency in the United States, yes, that's fine.
Are both exams, law and trade, scheduled for the same day, 3.5 hours for each? Oh.
Yes.
They are. One scheduled, I think one scheduled like at 8, and then the next one, they do give you a little break in between, and then the next one scheduled that same afternoon. If you get there and, after your business and law, you tell them, hey, I'm burnt out. I just want to take this one today. You can reschedule. There's a $60 rescheduling fee, but you can come back to take the other. Okay. If I have a company, an RMO with a General B with more than 20% ownership, when I would be able to apply for the company to have its own General B license?
So if I have my company or a movie, okay, once you gain the 4 years experience, again, so if there, once 4 years experience is complete, then you can apply for your own. Or the RMO for its own.
As long as you prove the 4 years, then you're good.
What's that?
They just have to prove the 4 years on their own, correct? If
yes.
that person, the RMO leaves.
Yes, yes.
I have a Class B and want to acquire a Class A. Must I take both exams?
No, you don't have to take the law, only the trade.
Correct. Okay. I have a realtor license. I've taken courses in real estate law, real estate business, and ethics. What credit might I get for these courses? We wouldn't be able to tell you until you sent in the actual certification or the completion certificates to see if there was anything that they would be granting you. Do you have anything to add to that, folks? She says she's taken real estate law classes, real estate business classes, and ethics classes.
I have to see it, but I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We are a manufacturer and have licensed stubs installing our products. The GCs are wanting us to have a license to manage our installers. My role is to organize products and guide installers at job sites. I've won this for 10 years. And then it gets, and does this qualify as experience? And do we need a license? Let's see. We are a manufacturer and have licensed subs installing our products. The GCs are wanting us to have a license to manage. My role is to organize products and guide installers at the job sites. It sounds like if they're wanting you to, if you're managing projects, yes, you're going to need to get a license. And it sounds like they're wanting you to have a license. So if you're a project manager, yes, you would be required to have a license. How can I get CSLB fingerprint cards for out-of-state hard card fingerprints? So those get mailed out to them, correct? If they're from out of state? Instead of doing the live scan, if they're from out of state, they get the hard card fingerprints mailed to them, correct? Those would be mailed to you.
Yeah, if they're out of a state, they get fingerprint cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have to mail it in with the fee. We will send it to FBI and DOJ and take some time to get back.
Mm-hmm. Next question. If you travel to California to get your fingerprints, can you take the exam the next day? What I would recommend that if you're traveling to California to take your exam, then you can take your live scan. You don't need an appointment for the live scan. You would need an appointment for your exam. So wait till you get your exam date, and then if you're going to be traveling to California, you can get your live scan the same day or the next day. We're just getting a lot of repeat questions. Can a non-resident alien with an ITIN be an owner and qualifier? Yes, we take ITIN numbers. You do not have to provide a social security number. If you have an ITIN number, you are able to apply for a license. Is a license required for a pressure washing business? If so, which license is required for residential and commercial? You want to take that one, folks?
For the pressure washing?
Pressure washing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a D38. It's a sand and water blasting contractor.
Mm-hmm.
This seat is called C61/D38.
And the good thing with that is that you would only take the law and business. You wouldn't have to take a trade exam.
You only take the law, correct? Mm-hmm. For the D classes.
Yes. What type of credit is needed for a contractor's license? The credit examples currently posted are a requirement or just work experience would work. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you, what we're looking for is for the certifier to let us know what duties you have performed. And we're looking for 4 years within the last 10 years, and they want to be very specific to what critical duties you performed. If you want to know what CSLB considers critical duties, you're going to want to refer back to our classification booklet, and that's where we list our critical duties. And so if you're reading that description and you say, hey, I've done all of this, you're going to want to make sure to include that information. Do not copy it word for word, but you do want to include what you have done. Okay? I have a Class B and want to acquire a Class A. Must I take both exams? No, just the trade exam. A lot of repeat questions, I think. Can anybody certify my work if I am self-employed to get a B license? Anybody who meets those categories on the work certificate itself, work experience certificate at the bottom, there are some categories. Anybody who fits in those categories, yes, can certify your experience. It doesn't have to be somebody that you've worked for. Are pay stubs qualifiable for work experience? Oh, pay stubs, will you take pay stubs?
It says, what was that? What was the question?
Would pay stubs qualify for work experience?
Yes. But again, we need the certification of work experience. I wouldn't recommend you say your pay stubs. Just wait until we see the work experience. If we need it, we will ask you. But certification of work experience is the main thing you have to send in with your application.
If I apply for my C20 now, would I have to wait until June to take the test due to COVID? So you can apply now. We will send you a test date for our next available tests date. Today our test sites are open. We don't know when that's subject to change. So, it could be changing. But as of right now, we don't know if June is going to be the next available test date. So we wouldn't be able to answer that one. Hi, can a general B license bid on asbestos projects without holding the C22?
You have to hold asbestos certificate. So when you have your general B, you apply for asbestos certificate. Once you have your asbestos certificate, then you can bid for asbestos projects that come in with your project. When you're doing a B project, the things come up, you can bid on it, but you cannot actually perform the work until you get your DOSH registration.
I'm looking to apply for C39 and I have all of the experience as a journeyman level. Don't quite understand if I need to have the credit as well. Can you guys explain this a bit? If you are applying for a C39 or roofing license and you have over 4 years of experience at a journeyman level, then you need nothing else. That's all you need. You need somebody to certify that experience. They need to complete the certification of work experience. That's the first step. You want to submit your application, submit that, and then we will contact you with any further information. But that's all you need. 4 years within the last 10 years. I am looking for a Class C license. I print and install wall coverings and window film. I have subcontracted the labor for years, but now the GCs are requiring bidders to have their own license. I do not see the specific C class subsets. Please help. So for wall coverings, window film, do you have any information on that one, Phil?
Yeah, that would be the D29 is C61 D29, like paper hanging.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So you can apply for that one there. It's a specialty.
And also, you may look at the D52 for window coverings. Mm-hmm. So those are the classification you want to look at, but they are both a specialty classification, which only require law.
Okay. What if you have the experience, but the contractor won't sign you off? How can your experience be proven? So we mentioned that the experience does not have to be signed off by the contractor that you are working for. It has to be signed off by somebody who knows that you have journeyman level experience. If you're part of a union, it can be somebody from the union. If you have a fellow employee who is willing to fill out your certification form, we will look at that as well. So it does not have to be the contractor that you work for. Is the transcript review part of the actual license application, or can I have my transcripts reviewed separately from the application? No, unfortunately, we do not have the staff to review the transcripts without you filing an application. You would have to first file your application, send in your transcripts, and then they will let you know how much credit you're going to get for those transcripts, and then you would need to prove the actual hands-on. If I worked for an employer in the past who passed away, would I be able to renew his C20? Or do I need to apply for my own?
Oh, you have to apply for your own, for sure.
Yes, you would have to apply for your own. How often are the classes given in Fresno to take a test? So we don't give classes. I don't know if you mean the test, but the test is given daily, but we don't provide classes. What is the new classification number or letter to be looking out for that info? The new remodeling license, I believe, is going to be C1. Is that what you heard for C1? The remodel class?
I have B. I heard B2. So
Okay, so be
It's in
on
the
the,
work. It's in the work. Yeah, just be patient. Soon we will have the information.
yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure when it comes out, it's going to be all over our website. So you want to make sure just to look out, and it's going to be a remodeling classification. So that information will be available. On your website, there is no study guide for the C61. Is no exam required? That is correct. For the C61, there is no exam required. If you're interested, if he says he's interested in the D35, there is no exam. You would have to take the business and law, so make sure you print that one. You would just come in for the one examination. No exam for the D35. I have a specialty subcontractor license in another state for over 3 years, concrete and framing. Also have numerous completed college courses, but no degree. Would that be a candidate for a test waiver? I'm seeking a general contractor license. So actually the test waiver, as we kind of mentioned, is only if you already hold a license for the same classification that you're going for. Like we mentioned, if somebody's already has a corporation license and they want to go to a sole ownership, they would qualify for the waiver. The waiver is not given based on the experience that you have or the college courses you've taken. You would still have to take the exam. You would still have to apply for the regular license.
Correct.
Anything to add to that, folks? Okay.
No, correct. That's it. That's accurate.
Do you need 4 years of experience in each category you're applying for, or a total of 4 years of general experience? And take that one, folks.
Each classification requires 4 years of experience. Now, plumbing, for example, all the trades related to plumbing, you need 4 years of that. And if you have done other work, you want to get additional classification, let's say for C20, then you have to have complete 4 years for that. It's only B that we need 4 years of all combined together, framing, plumbing, concrete, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Next question says, does a Class A general engineering license cover all classifications? No, not necessarily. You're going to want to read our description of classifications to see what you can do exactly with a Class A. It's our general engineering license, but no, it doesn't cover all of the classifications. If I have a BS, worked as asbestos contractor for 1.5 years and had certified asbestos contractor for 1 year, would this qualify me to sit for the exam? So he has a bachelor's, has hands-on experience for 1.5 years, and he's also taken other courses, certified asbestos contractor. Claude, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, for the education, we give you whatever it gives you the highest. So we don't, you don't accumulate for different, classes or different certificates you get. We give you the highest that we can. And then after that, we look at the experience. So you have 1.5 year experience. Again, I can't tell you exactly how much you get for your BS. But yeah, we give you for your BS, which I'm sure is going to give you more than for your certificate. And then we go from there. Again, I can't tell you, but we count 1.5 years of work based on what you said here and whatever you get for your bachelor degree, which is more than your certificate.
Right. Okay. It says, what is the minimum requirement for credit when you're trying to obtain a license? So there is no requirement for education requirement. It's only if you happen to have the education, you can obtain credit, but you don't have to. What we're looking for is 4 years of experience within the last 10 years. And if that's hands-on experience, that's great. That qualifies, yeah. This is just another avenue people can use to meet the 4 years. Hi, I'm self-employed licensed for more than 20 years. Want to apply for my B license. Does this give me any credit towards the 48 months of experience? So if you want to apply for the B license, you would have to have the structural framing. That is part of the requirement. So if you have structural framing and you have other trades that would help you meet the B, then we would encourage that. But if you only have plumbing experience at the time, no, that wouldn't qualify you for the B. We are looking for structural framing experience.
Correct.
For a B licensed person, does a certifier have to be a contractor? No, we mentioned that it does not have to be. Somebody who has built cabins and tree houses, mother-in-law quarters, and permanent subdwellings, would that classify as a handyman, a subcontractor, or a general? How about just a business license? So the business license is something that you would have to go to the city or the county to get. We don't do business licenses. I'm not sure what type of work you were doing at these cabins and tree houses, mother-in-law add-ons. It looks like the question got cut off. But if you, depending on the work that you did, it could help qualify you for a contractor's license. We would just need more information. What if the owner builder experience is mainly painting, which doesn't require a permit? How do we use that experience? No, if you were trying to get a painting license, you wouldn't use the owner builder experience. That's only if you're trying to get a B general building license. That's when
Correct.
we're going to use that one. Can a general B license bid on asbestos project? Oh, we already answered that one. If I'm trying to do only kitchen and bathroom remodeling, does the new remodeling license cover cabinets, counters, plumbing? And will the new classification be available to apply for? So yes, we just received approval within the last the last month. So we're still working on it. It's going to be coming up. You'll receive more information from our website, I'm sure. Yes, and those are exactly the items that would be covered, the duties that would be covered with that new remodel license. I have a small compact tractor. I only do surface level yard work, such as mow grass, sprinkler trenching, weed abatement. Can a C27 landscaper contractor license cover that type of work? Bo, do you want to take that one?
Well, it can cover that kind of work, but you cannot use that experience for a C27 qualification. This is just like, yeah, lawn maintenance. We need more, irrigations, sprinklers, like ornamental, fountains, things that, actually you build, install, and add the landscape. Yep.
Okay. Does the translator for the exam have to be a professional, or can it be a relative or a friend? It can be any person of your choosing. You just need to let us know ahead of time. Question number 16 asks if you would like to use a translator. You'll hit yes, and then we will send you an application that person needs to fill out. Just a couple of questions. It's an easy form that they need to fill out before coming in and get them approved. But yes, it could be your friend. It could be a relative. It doesn't matter. It's somebody of your choosing. Okay, so that's all the time that we have for answering questions. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the presentation. Thank you for all of your questions. If you have any other questions about your application, we encourage you to send an email to our licensing division. That email is licensing@cslb.ca.gov. Again, licensing@cslb.ca.gov. If at some point you need to reschedule your exam, you can get that process started by dropping an email to exams@cslb.ca.gov. We've also put together a list of available resources for women who are considering a career in construction. If you haven't already, be sure to download this presentation to get them. You can download this presentation on a green banner on the top of our homepage, www.cslb.ca.gov. So again, go to our homepage, www.cslb.ca.gov, and there's a green banner at the top of the page where you can download this presentation. If you're watching the archived video of this workshop on our YouTube page, you'll find the link to the presentation down below.
That concludes today's workshop. An archived version will be placed on CSLB's YouTube channel. We welcome your comments or topics for future webcasts. Just drop us an email to social@cslb.ca.gov. A special thanks to our licensing division and public affairs office for their help on this workshop. The Get Licensed to Build workshop is a copyrighted production of the California Contractors State Licensing Board. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.